All right, question number 3. How does the campus use innovative thinking, risk taking, or failures as a learning experience to promote the campus vision? Innovative thinking, risk taking, or failures as a learning experience to promote the campus vision.
Right offhand, I can speak to failures.
Okay.
Last year, we did not make the required. We're an improvement required campus.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't meet the state standards. We didn't do so because of Index 4, and because of there was tax or something from previous years. This year we have been way more diligent in looking at the different indicators in Index 4, putting the data together, trying to see, okay, what are the numbers, what are they looking at, what are they looking like, doing benchmarks, and data points throughout the semester to see, okay, is there anything that we can change? We had one of the instructional coaches who is well versed in data. He presented to the faculty what Index 4 is, the ins and outs of Index 4, what the data is, and what we can do as a staff to reach our goal at this point. So that's I think that's an example of innovative thinking. Also using your failures. I think risk taking to allow an instructional coach to pretty much lay your dirt out in front of a staff. I think that's very brave because it gives everybody a chance to talk about what the numbers are. It gives everybody a chance to look at, okay, where we are, why we didn't make it. But it also gives us a chance to have healthy conversation to say, all right, this is where we are. Let's not be here again, and let's figure out how to move forward.
Is that part of what we did when I think Mr. Owusu had the presentation?
Yes.
And we said, what can we do? I'm just using this again. 300 students passed, but we needed 302. What can we do to these other 2 students or other 4 students? Is that part of that?
Yes, that was part of that.
How is that translating, or how do you think it's going to translate now that we're in the testing period? I mean, since that meeting, how have these strategies been used? I mean, because it's risk taking, it's a risk. How do you think these strategies have played out so far?
I think if you look around, there is now. I was the instructional coach for English for last year and at the beginning part of this year, so I keep in contact with my English teachers. Still, even though I'm in a different capacity, there is definitely a sense of urgency.
Right.
They're definitely monitoring data, even more so, and taking things a little bit more seriously because at this point it becomes, whether we're reconstituted or, those kind of things. I know working with Mr. Owusu, he has always instilled a sense of urgency in his math department. I think the other thing becomes data is a little bit more user-friendly. So you can look at it and say, oh, okay, this is what, because a lot of times these numbers are arbitrary. They're just kind of out there, and it's just kind of, and so everybody just kind of waits for, okay, or did we make it? Well, now you see the process. Now you see what it is. You see what Index 4 is and Index 1, 2, and 3, how they are calculated, and what we can do with that. So it hopefully, what I've seen in the English department, they've taken a little bit more ownership of their own personal data. So I think that and the way that we are held accountable as teachers and professionals this year with the new accountability system that's coming in to replace PDOS, I think those two hand in hand have given us all a greater sense of urgency.
Okay. Question number 4. What processes are used in improving morale, which moves the campus toward the realization of the campus vision?
One of the things, there's a couple of things. Of course, we Teacher of the Month, Student of the Month. We also did this year for the first time a Student Appreciation Week, where one of the administrators got together with some of the students, I think Student Council, National Honor Society, and they decided, instead of always appreciating the teachers, because we do have our own week, to do a Student Appreciation Week. And so there were different activities that came about because of that. We also have a 200 Club where teachers nominate students that have gone above and beyond, not necessarily just academically, but just, in character and different things like that. This year we will have Teacher Appreciation Week, of course, the alumni chapter. I'm involved with my alumni, and this is our 20th year. So we have decided to adopt the school this year. And so we've done one teacher appreciation activity. We will do another teacher appreciation activity during Teacher Appreciation Week. The district requires us to do surveys.
Right.
And so we do surveys we do one in the fall and then one in the spring. Our numbers are revealed to us, and we can sit down and speak on those things. And for the most part, in my experience, if they're honest, if they're red, then they're red. If they're green, then they're green.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it gives us the indicators for, okay, this is what makes a successful school, or this is what makes successful morale, or this is what improves morale, and it quantifies it, which in my opinion qualifies it. And so you can start, as an administrator, you can start looking at those things and say, okay, we need to make a plan of action that involves the teachers, the students, the parents, everybody, and then we can move forward. So I like the fact that we're doing the appreciation weeks and the survey. I hope that as a campus we move to more involvement of other stakeholders so that we can have more concrete ways, because our indicators that they're looking for are there.
And speaking of morale, because it's something when I talked to Mr. Johnson about, you were here, how long have you been at Samuel?
This is my second tour of duty. This time I've been here since 2011.
Can you talk about morale in both your times you worked here, as far as the first time and the second and coming back? Because, and that's the kind of the response we've got. How was the morale? Because this is only my second year. How's the morale when you started the first time? Then how's the morale when you came in the second time?
Wow. My first tour of duty was in 1999.
I mean, you make it sound like it's military. You say tour of duty.
Oh, yeah. Depends on how you look at it. I was a college graduate, came back to my alma mater, and was absolutely floored. I had never seen, some of my old teachers had moved on, obviously, because they were older when I was here, but I had never seen kids respond like these kids did. And so, because there was, if I can be honest, the lack of administrative support led to the low morale. Because if you got a kid that's acting a fool in class,
right,
and you're calling for somebody and nobody does anything, then it's, okay, I'm alone in this classroom by myself. What do I do? There's nobody to help me. So I'm going to do this the best way that I can and let the chips fall where they may. That was in 99. When I came back in 2011, the current principal was on his way out. And I think it was a little angst because everybody kind of knew, this is his last year. We've been through some things together. We've known this person. What is this next person going to be? So I was here at the end of one principal into the transition of the next who we currently have. It was, when I came back in 11, there were discipline issues. There were, because of the hint of transition, the staff was really, on edge and nervous. And so I think it affected a lot of things. I think that there were some transitions in administration as well, other than the principal. And so those things kind of shook up things in terms of discipline and different things like that. Since I've been under our current principal, things have settled down a lot. There are monitors now. I had never seen monitors before. I think they may have had monitors with the old principal. I'm not sure. In terms of visibility, yeah, they're way more visible than they were then. I think, once again, you get settled into a principal, and so once you start to learn how he or she is, you start to work with them and you start to realize, okay, this is what they like, this is what they don't like. And so the staff kind of governs themselves accordingly. And so because our numbers are up, because our morale is, better on paper and around the school, mm-hmm. because, we're moving, as our principal says, we're moving the needle positively.
Right.
Then morale comes up because it's like, okay, we actually see ourselves making strides. As testing season comes in now, there's of course some angst because it's like, okay, you know, we're moving positively, but we still have not hit the mark that we've needed to make. So what do we do?
What was the turnover like? I'm guessing in 12 when you were here. How was the turnover then compared to now? And tie that in with morale, because I've gotten, you know, like I said, last year, my first year, and I heard the year before, which would have been the current principal's first year, was really tough.
It was tough.
Okay.
He came in and wiped out. Now, I don't know if that was his goal. I have no idea. I'm not in his brain. I don't know, you know, but it was clean. Like, a lot of people left. And so what happened was the morale honestly went into the toilet, because you didn't know whether it was that he was sent here to do that, or whether it was, you know, oh, I just can't work with this person. And because he was tough, he was very no nonsense. He was very, this is what we're going to do. This is how we've got to do it. That's it. And so it was get right or
go home.
Yeah, or go home. And so,
how has he changed since then? Because I guess I got him in the middle. You know, how is it now?
It's funny because he has a personality. Like,
right.
We didn't see his personality in the beginning, and so it was like, oh my gosh, okay, they have hired the Grinch. What is going on? And typically, when you see a person's personality, you can kind of gauge, okay, is this person personable? Can you laugh?
Right.
But because he came here in the beginning on such a mission, then, you know, that was what it was. Now he's approachable. You know, we can talk to him. I had a conversation with him this morning. He has facial hair that he didn't have. And
noticed it,
yeah, so just to have that conversation, I was like, hey, you know, you got facial hair. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I like it. I would never say that to him when he first got here.
Right.
So I think...
Have a lot of teachers noticed that? Because if you've noticed that, I wonder do others notice that? Does it make them feel more comfortable now in their second or third year with him?
I think so. I think the other thing, though, is I was on the leadership team.
Right.
So I think sometimes we see a different side of him than other people see.
Okay.
So, I mean, I've gone with him from when he first got here. I was on the instructional leadership team to now I've transitioned into a different position, but I've learned how to work with him. So I don't know if he shows that to everybody. Now, I know in the halls, he's all smiling and waving. And so I know that people see that, and it's different that way.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ms. Martin, for your participation.